Hello. For the nerds in the audience, today's video is being filmed with my Hi8 camcorder instead of my digital 8 camcorder because I haven't used it in quite a while and I want to give it some exercise. I've had some pretty darn amazing things happen since the last update, so I wanted to get this update out to you guys today. As of filming this video, hopefully I'll get it up the same day that I film it here. The day after tomorrow marks 8 months on HRT, which is just super amazing. No perceivable changes in the past month or so, or 2 months even. And I've been kind of just a little bummed in the past few weeks because I noticed that things are now beginning to slow down and I'm not seeing as many changes anymore these days. But a good friend of mine showed me something the other day that really perked up my spirits. I was Skyping a good friend of mine who's actually a gender fluid person, and he showed me something that another friend of his had given him, and it's a little chart that is a timeline of all the changes that an MTF person can expect on HRT from HRT. And it's just really cool because you look at and you see that some of the changes don't even begin until like 6 or 8 months after you start HRT. Most of them don't end for like 3 or 4 years. And so the chart goes as far as 6 years for some of the changes. So I thought that was really, it just really lifted my spirits because I know now that some of the changes, although they've slowed down, they're going to keep changing for literally years to come. So I thought that was just really cool, and I've put it up on the screen here so you can take a look at it. I thought it was pretty great. If you haven't already, you might notice something a bit different in today's video. It's not very good probably, but I'm wearing makeup and I put it on myself. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to talk about that later. There are a couple other things I want to get to first. First of all, my vlog video, the really long video about the history of my life leading up to me deciding to transition, got a lot of positive response. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. I'm glad people enjoyed it. Some people actually apparently watched it most of the way or all the way through, which that's crazy. I haven't even watched it all the way through and I'm the one that made it. So yeah, thank you for that. People who told me it was very good. Some people said that it'll help a lot of, questioning trans people should they run across that video. And that's great for me to hear because that's the main reason I made that video, was so, if in the future some trans person who's having fears or doubts and just randomly Google something and my video comes up, if it's able to help them, then I've done my job. So yeah, it was great. It was a very long, exhausting video to make, but I wanted to do it, and I'm really glad it turned out all right. Something else, I haven't really addressed this yet. I'm wearing the same dress here that I wore in that vlog video, and I haven't even talked about it. It's a new dress that I bought online. We will talk about it at the end of this video so I can show you the whole thing and you can see what it looks like. Now on to the meat and potatoes of this video. I had an amazing girls' night out with my great friend Katie a couple of weeks ago. Katie has been the most important person throughout my transition. She was one of the first people I came out to, and at the time I came out on Facebook, Katie and I had only met a couple of months before I actually started HRT. And so when I came out on Facebook, we had been Facebook friends for like a few weeks, and we weren't really talking to each other. We didn't really know each other or talk to each other. She had her circle of friends, and I had my circle of friends, and we really didn't talk. But it's kind of amazing when I came out on Facebook, that's what brought us together, because a couple of days after I came out on Facebook, I was at school doing my own thing, and she came up to me and we just started talking, and we talked about my coming out and the kind of things I wanted to do, and how I was still waiting for HRT because I had issues with my blood and stuff like that. And she was there for me right from the get-go, and from that point we became just very close friends. We did a lot of studying together in school. She gave me, when I started transitioning in January, I came to visit her in this apartment because this was hers and now I'm living here, which is kind of funny. I came here and she did my makeup, first time I ever wore makeup, and it was so amazing. She gave me my first female clothes, which was a huge, a monumental moment in my transition, because seeing myself in female clothes was the very first time that I knew this was what I was meant to be. And all through the past few months, we've been mutually saying we got to plan on having a girls' night out so we can go out and do some stuff, buy some makeup. So I have some makeup that'll work, and maybe some more clothes and stuff like that. Well, both of us are electrical engineers, and we were both busy, and that never really happened. And now we both have full-time jobs, and we're both exhausted people. We don't have a lot of energy between the two of us, but we finally made it work a couple of weeks ago. We said, it wasn't even like a weekend like we were planning. It was a weekday, and we're just like, we messaged on Facebook, we're like, let's just do this. Screw the fact that we're exhausted from work. Let's just get in a taxi, go to the mall, and do this. And that's exactly what we did. One of the big points for me of going out with her was to get out in public as a female, because I hadn't done that yet. Now, you may remember in March, I went to a banquet at school that was being held in a location outside of school. So technically, I went out in public because I went out as a female to that banquet. But the thing is, it was dark, it was at night, and we weren't actually out. It was me and a couple of friends. We just got in a taxi from school, taxied right to the banquet location, did our thing there, and then taxied home. And it all happened at night, and so I wasn't really in public. The only people that saw me were friends of mine and a couple of my professors, although that is important because that was the first time a lot of those people saw me presenting as female. But I had never really gone out in public, in broad daylight with other strangers around as a female. So that was one of the important points to me of Katie and I being able to get out, because I was obviously too scared to go out by myself, but I'd be more comfortable if she was with me. And she was really excited to get to go out with me as a female as well. So we finally did that a couple of weeks ago. We got home from work. I changed into actually this dress is what I wore, and we called a taxi and we went to the mall and spent a couple hours at the mall, and it was just amazing. We did a lot. The first thing we did was, I know it's probably distracting. I'm sorry. I keep shoving my hair out of my face. It's not cooperating with me today for some reason. It keeps itching my face. First thing we did was we went to a drugstore in the mall, Lawton's Drugs, so we could take a look at makeup, because they have tons of makeup there. And Katie's very experienced with makeup, and she knew exactly what I needed to get started. So we went into Lawton's, and it was empty in there, which was nice, because I was, I had made it to the mall, inside the mall, in this dress, and I was still super self-conscious and stuff like that, and really scared. And we went into Lawton's, and there was no one in there, luckily. We had an assistant in the store ask us if we needed any help at one point, and Katie did all the talking, and I stayed silent because I didn't want to open my mouth. My voice kind of sucks, and I didn't want to speak because I knew it would give it away as soon as I spoke. Might not have resulted in any negative consequences, but I still didn't want to do it. So we spent, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes in there, picked out some makeup, which is what I'm wearing right now. And I paid for the stuff myself. I went to the checkout and cashier asked how I was doing, and then I had no choice but to open my mouth, so I did. And the cashier, young woman about my age, she goes, "I love your freckles. I wish people would let their freckles, appear more often rather than hiding them with makeup." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you," because that made my day, to get that compliment, because here's someone who obviously knows that I'm transgender, and for her to just, compliment me like that, it made me feel so much better about me being out there, not wearing makeup, which made me even more vulnerable. So that really made my day. So that was our first stop, getting the makeup, and then we went to three different shoe stores. There's there's more than three small shoe stores in the mall, but we went to three of them, and to look at some women's shoes, because I wanted a nice pair of shoes. We didn't really come up with much, because unfortunately, I've got big feet. I'm a size 11 men's, 10.5, 11. And my feet are also slightly wide. I normally get a 10.5 wide shoe when I buy sneakers or whatever. And so we went in there, but we couldn't find any women's shoes that A, I liked, and B, actually fit me, which was kind of a bummer. And then we went to a store that sold Birkenstocks, and I assume everybody watching this knows what Birkenstocks are. I know here in Canada, they're, just the biggest thing ever. They exploded about 10 years ago, and every man, woman, child, and their dog has a pair of Birkenstocks, but they're a type of sandals. And I've those been at the forefront in my mind thinking about shoes, because Birkenstocks are unisex, and I don't own any sandals, and I figured they would be a good first thing to buy. So we went into the store that sold Birkenstocks, and once again, we couldn't really find anything. Well, here's the thing. They had Birkenstocks, but they had men's Birkenstocks and they had women's Birkenstocks, and we spent our time in the women's, and we couldn't find anything that was big enough. Plus, they were really expensive. They had the genuine Birkenstocks for $130, and then they had a cheaper knockoff Birkenstocks for $70, and even that was way too expensive, because I know you can go on eBay and get knockoff Birkenstocks for like $30 or $40 or something like that, and that had always been my plan. So between the price and not really finding anything big enough, I'm like, maybe we should just come back later. So we left that store, and we went to the third store. Again, nothing enticing that was big enough for me. And here's the thing, it was really hard to try shoes on, because I'm not a fan of my feet. I don't like how they look. But Katie assured me, she told me there's nothing wrong with them. They look just fine. She's like, nobody likes their own feet. And I said, yeah, that's probably true. So I'm like, Katie had the idea. She said, why don't we go back to the other store with the Birkenstocks and look again and see if they have any that are big enough. We didn't look very deep because I was kind of iffy about the whole thing, but we went back in, looked a bit further, couldn't find anything big enough, but an associate asked if he could help us, and we asked if he had any, larger ones, and so he pointed us to the men's section, which had Birkenstocks that were big enough. So I tried a pair on, and I liked them. I liked how they looked, And I said, you know what, and Katie's like, even though they're expensive, they're really good quality shoe. They last for many years. And that's true. And I'm like, you know what, if I tell myself I'm going to go online and get them, I'll never do that just because I'm too lazy. So I bit the bullet. I bought them for $70. And I was very, very happy and glad that I did that. And Katie was happy for me as well. And we actually put them on right there, right in the mall, and I wore them for the rest of the trip there, which, it was pretty great. So yeah, I was very happy with that. But then I think the icing on the cake, we were pretty much done. We were content with everything we had done that day, and we ended our jaunt in the mall by going to Booster Juice, which is a little, smoothie bar, basically. It's like a Starbucks, but for smoothies, fruit smoothies and stuff. And I'd never been there, and Katie is a fan, so she brought me in there, and I went in and ordered something, and the girl at a cash register, woman about my age, was clearly gay. She was clearly a lesbian. And after I'd made my order and she rung me in, she says, "I really like your dress." And then when she went away to start my order, she turned back and looked at me, and then turned again and went about my order. And I thought, oh my gosh, it sort of looks like she's checking me out. And when my smoothie was ready and she came to give it to me, she gave me a very obvious look on her face. I think she was checking me out. I'm pretty sure that I was getting checked out by a gay girl. And that's so awesome. That's just so amazing. As a trans woman, especially as a bisexual trans woman, nothing is more validating than when a gay girl is, and a cis girl. She was clearly a cis girl. Nothing is more validating when a gay cis girl is checking you out, which I'm pretty sure she was. I can't be 100% sure, because that's the first time in my entire life that anybody's ever shown me that kind of interest, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And that just made me super happy. If I was bolder, I would have just asked her out, but anyway, that just made my day so amazing. It really made me feel good. So all in all, it made up to be an excellent day, and Katie and I came back here and talked for a couple hours and had great conversations, and it was awesome. It's one of the best days of my life. Being able to go out and do these things with her, and all the other stuff that happened, and buy my first pair of Birkenstocks, which I've wanted for a long time. So very happy. It was a really amazing outing, a very big milestone in my transition. So super happy with that. So on to other things for this video. I suppose the next thing we should talk about is, my face, specifically the stuff currently on my face. I'm currently wearing makeup. It's the stuff I bought when I was at the mall with Katie, and I put it on myself. I don't know how well it looks on the camera. I don't know if it'll show up better with the light on. I think the light's a little bit too bright. Yeah, I think it's a bit too bright. Maybe if I do that. So, basically, I tried out the makeup for the first time a few days after I got it, and it really wasn't anything monumental. I just wanted to test to see how well it could cover my beard shadow, because that to me, I'm not someone who has ever been very interested in wearing makeup. I'm more of a clothes person, obviously. That's what I get most excited over, clothes and shoes. But I've wanted to be able to learn to do something to cover my beard shadow. Unfortunately, I have a full face of very thick and dark facial hair. Not dark enough for laser apparently, but dark enough to be a nuisance to look at. And so I've wanted to learn how to do something with makeup so I could cover it up. And basically I just did a sort of a proof of concept test with the makeup I bought, just to see, just throw it on and see what sticks. So I just did a really light application. I used a couple of different internet guides that I found. The internet's just full of makeup tutorials, which is great. And I tried it and I found, yeah, it helped my it helped cover my beard shadow a bit. I took a picture. I took before and after pictures. I'll throw them up here right now. Like I said, it's nothing monumental. In fact, I think these pictures look pretty damn ugly of me. But I knew that it worked, and I knew that I somewhat knew what I was doing. And so a few days later, I decided to try it again. This was yesterday, last night. I decided to go full on. I'd put the makeup on, full coverage. Try to go a bit thicker on everything because I knew I went too thin the first time. And I basically did everything you see right here. And I did everything: concealer, foundation, blush, lipstick, mascara, and eyeshadow. And it basically came out how you see it right now. And I was amazed because this was the first time I'd ever done, a full set of makeup on myself, and only the second time I'd ever touched makeup ever. So I figured it'd come out, pretty bad, pretty obviously mediocre attempt. No, it came out really, really good, and I couldn't believe it. The only thing that isn't that good, and that's the case today as well, is the eyeshadow. I have no idea what I'm doing with eyeshadow. Yeah, I I don't know what I'm doing, so I gotta kind of work on that. But everything else came out just awesome, and I couldn't believe it. And I took a bunch of pictures of myself, and one of those pictures is now the new profile picture on becoming.me.0, my Instagram account. First new profile picture in like 6 months. The last profile picture was when Katie put a full set of makeup on me, and I didn't want to change that picture until I had a full set of makeup on me again, which finally happened last night. And another picture is now my profile picture on Facebook. So I was super happy, and people told me I looked pretty good. Nobody had anything to say about the eyeshadow. I think I'm pretty bad at it, but nobody else said anything about it, which I guess is a good thing. But yeah, I couldn't believe how well I had managed to make myself look this second time I've ever laid hands on makeup. I just couldn't believe it. It made me really happy. And so I've done that again today. And I did it just for this video. I did myself up again, just like I did last night. And I think the eyeshadow came out even worse this time than it did last night. But everything else, once again, did pretty good. And if you look here, I think I did an alright job covering the beard shadow, which is awesome. So yeah, I just can't believe how quickly I've picked up being able to do makeup half decently, and I'm really excited to be able to continue to practice it and improve upon it. And I think I will have no problem learning how to do makeup, and that's pretty much, one of the last pieces of the puzzle for me being able to pass out in public as a woman. There will be one piece that's permanently out of the puzzle, that's my voice, but as far as looks go, I'll fit the part pretty well, which I'm really excited to do. One of my goals was to be able to do my own makeup in time for my university graduation photos, so that I could be a female in my graduation photos. And I think I'll be able to do that now, no question. So I'm really happy about that. that also means that 2 out of the 3 goals that I set for myself to have completed by the end of the summer, you remember back in May, I made that video where I named 3 goals that I wanted to accomplish by the end of the summer. We have 2 of them down now. The 3 goals were learn to do my own makeup, get laser hair removal, and try and lose some weight. I'm on my way to being able to do my own makeup, no problem there. I tried to do laser hair removal. We found that it wasn't going to work on my hair, which is unfortunate, but the important thing is I actually went in and saw about doing it, so I consider that a success. And then the third one, trying to lose weight, that's not happening. At least I don't think I'm gaining any more weight, which is good, but I'm certainly not losing it. I've just kind of given up. As long as I'm not gaining any more, then I'm okay. You know, I don't hate my body. I think I'm still beautiful, so whatever. As long as I'm healthy, that's the important thing. I'll keep trying. You know, lifelong. I'll keep monitoring and doing what I can to make sure, you know, I don't gain any more weight or anything like that. Before I started transitioning, I weighed about 65 pounds. And when the endocrinologist weighed me, I was just shy of 200, which, holy crap. I mean, 200 was what I weighed, you know, early high school years when I was just huge. I was huge, you know, borderline obese. And the funny thing is, I don't look anywhere near borderline obese now. And it's occurred to me, my butt's growing. It's growing a lot. And so I think a lot of the weight I'm gaining is actually just going straight to my butt. And I think a bit of it's going to my breasts as well. So no problems there. I have heard other trans people say that they literally gained weight and don't see where it went. So I'm going to assume that's what's happening for me. Ignorance is bliss, right? So I think there's just one more thing I wanted to mention. A couple more things actually. The first one is I have 2 more vlogs in mind that I want to make videos for. One of them is just going to be showing how I do my makeup, just out of interest sake, not like a tutorial, because whatever I do is definitely not going to be something that someone's going to want to follow, but I thought I'd just show how a layman beginner like me does it. And then the second vlog is going to be concerning something that I should have been talking about a long time ago, my name. So those are the 2 vlogs that I have in mind that I'll probably do here in the near future. A couple of days ago, I had blood work done, and I see the endocrinologist, I think, next week. So we'll see. You know, it's been, it'll have been 2 months, I think, since the endocrinologist last checked me out and saw where my levels are. So I've been on this steady dose of HRT for a long time, and I'll be really interested to see what the levels have stabilized to now. And I'm really happy because it was a good blood work this time. I didn't miss any pills leading up to the blood work, so it'll be a very accurate, the results will be very accurate regarding the levels of the hormones in my body, so that's very good. So I'll be really interested to see what it all looks like. So the last thing to do for this video is to show you this dress I'm wearing. I already put a picture up back when I was talking about the Birkenstocks, but I figure I'll let you see it in real time. Here, just see what it looks like, see what I look like, and everything like that. So let's take a look. So, about this dress. This is a turtleneck dress, which I really like. It was really attractive to me because, as I've said before, I don't like to show a lot of skin. And with the turtleneck, you take it up one level up because it can cover the neck beard. But now that I can do my own makeup, it's not such an issue anymore anyway. This is a turtleneck dress, long sleeve, from Reitman's. I bought it on Reitman's website. It's a $70 dress, and they had it on sale for $25. And then I had a coupon code I found, which brought it down to $22. So I got a $70 dress for $22, which is pretty amazing. And when I saw this on the website, I just immediately fell in love with it. I really loved it. So and of course stripe fetish, right? I think I gotta aim the camera up here. Sucks not having a really wide angle lens. There, let's try that. I think I could angle it down a bit more. There, let's try that. So here it is. And I don't know if you can see from here that my butt's growing pretty good, so that makes me really happy. I like having a nice round butt. So here's what it looks like. I love this to death. I wore it 5 times before I washed it for the first time, which isn't really good to do, but I loved it that much. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I returned a couple of things that I bought from Old Navy. I returned the tank dress because of course I didn't really like it anyway, and I decided to return the legging things that I got because I just didn't really love them. At first I was like, yeah, good enough, but it's really like, no, if I don't really love them, I don't want to keep them. So I took those, I've returned those 2 things, and once I get the money back for them, I'm actually going to buy 2 more tea dresses from Old Navy. They have a couple more styles in now. They have a black and white striped one, which I'm going to get. And then they have one that's sort of a grapefruit pink and navy blue stripes, which I really like. So I'm going to get that as well. Hopefully they're not, out of stock for the season before I finally get them. But there you go. That's my 8-month HRT update, and boy, a lot of stuff going on. I'm really proud of that I've been able to get to this point in my transition so far, and I'm really thankful for the people that have helped me along that way, because I certainly couldn't do it by myself. So that includes you guys. So as always, thank you so much for watching. My Instagram account, becoming.me.0, which is the first place that I always post gender transition updates before this YouTube channel. And then my main Instagram, The Maritime Man, as well as my main YouTube channel, The Maritime Man. And that's also the name of my Twitter as well. So thank you for all your support and love, as always. And I'll see you next time.